Hey, what's going on? Welcome back to another episode of Metal Massacre Fab Shop. My name is Matt, and on today's episode, we're going to be working on Dad's 72 C10. Behind me, we're going to be doing a little bit of a floor patch on this passenger side, and hopefully you enjoy it. And if you're new here, go ahead and consider hitting that subscribe button so you can see more content like this. Alrighty, so the first thing I'm going to be doing is grabbing a piece of cardboard or probably like a poster board type material, and I'm going to be trying to get a rough idea of what I'm going to be doing for this patch panel in here. So we've got the cardboard here, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to set this thing in, set a couple magnets around the perimeter, and start roughing this line in here. So now what I'm going to do is just go around here and kind of feel where this thing is and just kind of press my finger along it. And when I'm doing that, it's marking on this paper because my fingers are kind of dirty and nasty, so that line's transferring onto our paper. Just want to do that all the way around. After getting your rough shape on your board or your poster board here, you're going to remove this, and I highly recommend cutting at least a ½ inch at a minimum just to get started. That way you can kind of creep up on it, like I always say, instead of just trying to nail it the first time. That way you can come back in here and get a little bit closer each time. Okay, so I've got this thing kind of trimmed up. It's sitting in here a little bit better. As you can see, without that big poster board and everything, you can kind of get a better idea of things and kind of lay out a final line. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back around and just kind of get this thing as close as I can and get this just a little bit closer, and then we'll be transferring it onto some 18 gauge steel. So I got everything cut out and transferred onto a piece of steel. I'm just kind of trying to slowly rough this thing in, just basically bending this over my knee more or less. So it's kind of a compound curve where you've got a curve breaking down this way and also making that firewall. So I'm just going to continue playing around with this thing on my knee a little bit and getting all these bends where they need to be. So basically what I'm going to end up doing is coming back in here, scribing a line that I'm going to cut out farther into this older metal. That way this newer metal can come in here and be put down. Scribe a line up here, obviously, so we can get this down more, and I will shape that as it goes to make it match up with that rise on the firewall side here. Thing is tacked in here and it's looking pretty good. I gotta come through here and lay a couple little plug welds into the cab support. I'm sure some of you may have caught it, but I didn't actually drill the hole for the body mount. So what happened here was I ended up coming around here with my panel splitter and cutting a hole essentially. We've got our hole now, and I've got to come around here on this plate that I showed you earlier and make a couple more spot welds. Also, I'm probably going to kind of like 45 off from here over to here and make almost a triangle piece right here because it's real soft in that area. Alrighty, so this is going to be the little shape that I was telling you about here. You're going to basically get the old cutoff wheel here and just kind of cut this out. Luke is welding away on the patch panels right now. He's going to get everything kind of welded in here and fit up. Alrighty, so Luke got everything welded in here. Next thing I got to do is continue this cut on over and tie in down here to this inner rocker, and also get a couple stitch welds or up into this kick panel and on up into the old existing metal. Alrighty, Alrighty, so we've got this patch all installed over here, and it is welded into the kick panel, like I said, on the underneath side. I ended up putting a little tack here on top, but I'm going to end up coming back with a thin layer of seam sealer on down through here. And yes, this kick panel does need to be tacked the rest of the way in, and gives you a pretty good idea of what we did today. We just basically installed some 18 gauge steel in here, whereas a new patch panel would, you know, kind of cover up this whole area. I mean, yeah, you could go ahead and buy it, where this side over here, I did go ahead and purchase it because it's such a big area. This area over here being as small as it is, I didn't think that it was necessary. I mean, you could definitely buy one for this side as well, and it might be easier if you don't want to mess with all this stuff. But I'm super happy with the way this turned out. This is all going to be under carpet, which even if it wasn't, I mean, it's still a good patch. I mean, it's pretty solid. Everything's been repaired that needed to be repaired, so I think Dad's going to be happy with it. I'm happy with it. So that's going to wrap another episode up. Thank you for sticking in here, and if you made it this far, go ahead and drop a like below and maybe even a comment telling me what you did or did not like about this video. I'm pretty new to all this stuff, so just trying to get better and make better videos for you guys. Also, Dad's truck is getting really close to being ready for some suspension parts, a good cleaning, because it's set for a good while before we got it. Then we're going to send it off to one of his buddies for a little bit of the mechanical work, because that's not really my forte, and we've got a lot of other things to get done before show season. So thanks for watching everything, and hopefully you're subscribed. If you're not, consider it, and I'll see you on the next one.